Are you ready to unlock your full potential? Motivational speaker, the comeback coach, and goal crusher Joe Rivera brings you inspiring leaders, incredible stories, and valuable lessons on how you can change, grow, and reforge your life. Now, here's your host, Joe Rivera.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Reforge Your Life Show. I'm your host, Joe Rivera, and here at the Reforge Your Life Show, we like to show you that the comeback is more than possible. And today, I'm super excited about the guests I'm bringing to the show. Y'all are going to love this lady's energy, her charisma, and what she's doing out there in the world, man. She's the executive producer of The Heart of Influence, curating 19 plus 100 episodes with extraordinary global leaders. She's a capital markets lawyer for 26 plus years, guiding companies through financing, mergers, and IPOs. And she's a change maker around the world using influence out there to create impact. Andrea Catania, welcome to the show.
Joe, thank you so much. I am absolutely delighted to be here, and let's go.
Yeah, let's go. LFG. So, Andrea, for those of you who don't know what LFG is, let's fucking go, baby. Let's go. So, Andrea, we had to bring a little bit of that New Jersey and New York into
Oh yeah, Jersey girl all the way.
So, listen, I've heard your story. You have an incredible story, but there's no way that I could tell your story the way you can. I'm not qualified to the way you are. So please share your story with the audience so they know a little bit more about you.
Thank you so much for giving me the space. I appreciate it. And I hope this resonates with some, because life can be challenging and all of us can just pick ourselves up and do something with those challenges. And sometimes hearing about someone's struggles and journeys makes people realize, you know, I'm not alone. I still wake up scared in the morning. You know what I do? I get on the floor and I do as many push-ups as I can. And that infuses me with endorphins. And then I feel like I got this. So my story is, grew up in, the suburbs on a lake near the woods. I got married too young, way too young, made some mistakes. And by the time I was in law school, I was in the middle of a divorce. I had a 3.5-year-old and a 10-month-old who was still nursing. So I was reading 400 pages a night by flashlight. Use your imagination. Looking back, I don't know how I did it, but I had that fire. I had that desire I want to be a problem solver. I want to be this shining light of possibilities to my little girls, that you could do anything. And I had this fantasy, and this is in the mid 90s. It really was a fantasy of practicing law from home. And that might sound, who doesn't do that today? But back then, nobody was doing it. Nobody. And I got eye rolled like you wouldn't believe. And you know what? I am a firm believer that if you put something out there, you have that vision, whether it's a vision board, something in your mind, something that you want to achieve, and you take action steps. The only problem with The Secret, no disrespect to the authors of The Secret, is they basically said, pray for it and it'll come, essentially. You've got to take action steps. You've got to see that vision and you've got to make those steps towards it. And I ended up having exactly what I wanted. Yes, I met a fabulous mentor. Yes, opportunities came to me, but that's because I was out there. And I never thought for a moment that I would be a securities lawyer or in the capital market space. Because, come on, doesn't that sound boring? It sounds like in law school, it's like, what? That's going to put me to sleep. But it wound up being the most invigorating practice area. Why? Because I get to work with entrepreneurs and idea people and people who want to change the world. And I was able to write their offering documents from home with my young daughters. I was able to get on freeconferencecall.com and we had no Zoom. I was able to put deal teams together. I wound up building close to a $2 million practice from my basement. And that back in those days, in the early 2001-ish, that was a lot of money. And I got to keep it because I was a solo practitioner that didn't come just with billable hourly rates. This came more with flat fees and my putting my time at risk and sometimes taking stock as part of my fee and aligning my success with my clients, which I always loved to do. Then from there, I got too busy. I wound up getting kind of recruited by a very busy boutique firm. And you know what I told them, Joe, when they looked at my, they thought, hey, looks like there might be something here. And frankly, I couldn't go on vacation. I was so busy with, I just had a paralegal. And this one attorney who I was working on the opposite side of a transaction with, a wonderful guy, he saw that he heard that I sounded a little stressed out and asked, what's going on? What's wrong? I said, I can't go on vacation. I'm so busy. And when he heard my woes, he offered to babysit my clients while I was away. He said, you got to go on vacation. And Joe, that was such a wonderful growth experience for me because, again, I felt like I wasn't alone. I was able to let this firm kind of take care of things so I could, spend some time with my family. And when I came back, I realized I need a team. So I joined them and I told them, guys, I could call them guys because I was the only woman at the time. I said, I'm only coming in on Wednesdays. And believe me, back in 2002 at the time, again, are you kidding? And I said, look at my numbers. I do not need supervision. I'm coming in as an equity partner. I have my book of business, and it all worked out fine. So I know it sounds very common today, but I was a little bit of a pioneer. And they were busy. This firm was really busy doing pipe transactions, private investment, and public equities. Number one in the country, 37 lawyers. That's not easy to do. It was just, we did deal, and 3 separate league tables ranked us number one. And that's in terms of the number of deals, not the size of deals. So we were busy. I rolled up my sleeves. I put teams together. And like I said, I love working with entrepreneurs and people who are doing good in the world. And then after 13 years, I left with the same partner who brought me in. And we went to 2 of the biggest law firms in the country. And I was in big, and no regrets, but not really the best fit long-term for someone who likes to be entrepreneurial. Because the hourly rate kept going higher and the companies that I really wanted to help struggled with those fee structures. And like I said earlier, I love to align my success with people that I'm helping, that I'm representing. That's how I have the most gratification and fun. So quickly going, to how did I wind up the executive producer of this show? I was invited to this show 4.5 years ago, and I didn't realize that after I had plateaued like my last decade or so, and maybe it had to do with my being part of a big law firm that was, focusing more on hourly billing, but I had plateaued and I had a good practice. I didn't think there was anything, bad about it. But when I came on this show, The Heart of Influence, and I met some outstanding people who 2 of them I still do business with today, I realized that, I'm not out there enough. I'm not being proactive enough. And what I learned from that experience and from Unblinded and from the people that I came to know when I started producing a show a month was that if we're speaking, if we're ecosystem merging, like finding people to really co-host events with and do things with where we can, impact so many people because we're both inviting a lot of people and we don't compete with each other, we can have so much more impact and generate so much more connection and client relationships. So one final thing I'll say is all business is built on relationships, Joe. You and I know that. And how does a business relationship start? It's always, I can't think of any other time it doesn't start with some kind of shared experience. And that's what this show is. Think of it as a lunch meeting without having to go anywhere. I'm curating groups of people. I'm literally hand selecting 5, 6 people that hopefully don't know each other. And they're in a fun environment. It runs like a game show. You've got Sean Callaghy, who's the father of integrity-based human influence, as the host. And that's kind of my story and my progression. Still a deal lawyer, general counsel here at Unblinded, Chief Ecosystem Officer at Callaghy Law. So I wear many beautiful hats, and I like hats.
Yes, I love it. I love it. And yeah, I see you wear a lot of hats, man, and you're good at each hat you wear. So that's awesome. Um, man, and I can't wait to be on the show this week, man. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. Um, I'm curious though, Andrea. So you're in this world um, of because I know what the financial world looks like. I lived it, I breathed it, I was in it for 2 decades, and I think it's safe to say that that world is usually dominated by men. Um, and you come into this universe where it's dominated by the opposite sex. What was some of the challenges that you went through that journey?
What a great question. I will say it wasn't just in the space where there were very few securities lawyers who were women, very few in the tax area, and there's still very few in corporate and in investment banking. There are very few women. I could count them on one hand, and they're so good. But I found in every environment, I just had to really speak up and hold my own in the space. Even that first firm that I brought my practice to, I'd be in a conference room and I would have a point to make, and guys would be talking over me, and finally I had to just use my voice in a little more assertive manner. I had to be a little bit louder. I had to make a joke. I had to be disruptive. So yeah, it's sometimes a challenge, but it's worth it to be uncomfortable for a minute, because on the other side of that discomfort comes the good stuff, the growth, the respect. So that's my shortish answer.
Yeah, no, I love it, and man, it's so true that there's nothing for you inside of that comfort zone. For the audience listening, man, the magic happens on the other side of that. That's where the greatness is. That's where the purpose is. That's where you unlock the code on being able to really live to your fullest potential. So I'm glad you shared that, man, because being getting comfortable with being uncomfortable is a key to success. Um, I'm curious, Andrea. You mentioned also about this plateau that you hit, and I think it's so important, and it's an important topic for business leaders and entrepreneurs because there's a lot who hit that plateau, and Wall Street for 20 plus years and making a boatload of money, and I hit this plateau, and I ended up turning to drugs and alcohol. And now I work with high performers who end up hitting that plateau. I mean, after having all the success on paper, all the achievements, but somewhere along the line, they hit that plateau and they lose their way. And there's a lot of entrepreneurs that go through that and they struggle with finding purpose, execution, and being able to really bounce back. So, what were those challenges that you went through when you hit that plateau?
I tell you, it's such a it's such a common issue, I think, among professionals, leaders. And I don't want to say that I got comfortable or that I was satisfied. I remember years before I went to law school. Remember Mike Ditka? He was I think, the coach of the Bears. He was into sales training for a while. And I'm showing my age here. I had a cassette series and it was called Are You Satisfied? And I wasn't satisfied. Satisfied means, are you complacent with where you are? Like, I'm growth driven. So I wasn't satisfied with just having that same level of practice, but I was busy and I was getting referrals. So I thought I had arrived. Business is coming to me. But you can't rely on referrals, right? You can't. Anything can happen. You've got to always have things in the pipeline. And the way to do that, I learned really so much from Unblinded. I was reminded of the truth, which is, if you can generate more opportunities to sit down and speak with someone about your value, and we could boil it down to, we could call it a sales meeting. If you can, and I did, quadruple or 5x the number of sales meetings you're having in a given month, there's no question you're going to have more clients and more disposable income. And then you might ask, well, how do you do that? You just flip a switch. Is it SEO? Is it marketing? No. Think of it as I'm in charge of generating more interest, but let me do it in a way where I'm not on a hamster wheel. And that's where those first three, we have something here that we call the 7 levers of marketing and sales process mastery. I will share the slide with you, but just think about if you're speaking more, and you could be on a panel, you could be a LinkedIn post counts as a speaking engagement. If you say something engaging, like look at my posts the last few days. I was interviewing people at NEBA. I'm talking a little bit. Then I have an engaging question. Anybody who responds to that, I can strike up a conversation with and maybe have a meeting that turns into a possibility where we can do something together. So speaking, that's one way to get past that challenge of the plateau. The other is shared experiences, like cause things to happen, like have a meeting of interesting people that you curate and put together, which is what I do on the show. I literally go out to podcasters like you, people who are growing their business leaders, heads of organizations. And what about, the lawyers, the financial service providers, the accountants who are at a level where they're connected with great clients. They can refer each other business. They can refer you people to interview. I'm always thinking about how can I put a group together that can blossom into a win for everyone. And then, of course, I think the most fun is the ecosystem merger. And this is all vocabulary that it's just the truth. It exists. And when I explain it, you'll be like, oh yeah, I knew about that. It's like a joint, kind of like a strategic alliance. Like if I was going to host an event and you and I have a lot of potential people that we want to work with in common, don't we?
Absolutely.
So what if we said, you know what do you say we have a webinar? We co-host a webinar together, and I'm going to share some of the things that I overcame in, building my practice, doubling my practice, more than doubling it in a little more than a year. And you're going to talk about, overcoming real hurdles that most people would have just given up. And people will identify, our words will resonate with so many if we overlap and come up with something. You're inviting people, I'm inviting people. Now we have a few hundred people, even if it's 50 people coming to our webinar. And our call to action in the end can be to connect with us for a consultation, for something else that's a gift. Now in one webinar, we have given ourselves exposure and connection to many more people than we would have if we just did something by ourselves. And we had fun doing it because we're delivering valuable content. I mean, there's nothing more gratifying than, and I think this is why people, love having kids. And if you don't, you can still give back to, people who you can use your knowledge and your wisdom. It's giving back, giving. That is, I think, honestly, Joe, I think that's why we're here. That's our purpose in the world is to give back. How do you feel about that?
Man, I love the whole giving back aspect of that.
Yes.
I think it's so important. And I think that, not I think, I know every entrepreneur that I've come across that, or business leader in any way, shape, or form that is highly successful, is in the gift of giving back, and understands how powerful that is for your growth and to be able to succeed at the highest level. Because when you hold those to what you were created here to do, because when you're given something, you want to give it back. You want to be able to help other people grow. And you mentioned something else that's really important, which is, collaboration and how vital that is towards success. It's a key to success. And a lot of people don't realize it. And there's business leaders and entrepreneurs out there who try to take this lonely route. And guess what? That lonely route that you try to take and do everything on your own, what that's going to lead to, that plateau that gets hit, and that you end up, falling on your ass and fighting this vicious cycle, trying to get back up on your own, when you know what, you'll get up a lot faster and achieve a lot more if you start collabing with other people and hanging on to that support, because our network is our net worth, not just in dollars, but in discipline, in direction, in destiny, and it's vital for your success.
You speak the truth, man. You really do. Amen.
I mean, listen, it's because I lived it, right? So I'm able to speak it because I lived it. I know what it's like to hit that plateau. I know what it's like to try to go back and do everything on my own. And man, I had to fuck up so many times in order to get it right and realize,
Yes.
man, I don't have to do this
But
shit.
the fuck ups are really something that we should be grateful for, as strange as that sounds, because not only do we grow from them and learn, and if you look at it that way, then hey, that wasn't the end of the world. That was actually good because look what I learned from it. But those of us who made mistakes and have overcome them are much more likely to share that wisdom with others so they don't have to make that same mistake. They can make other mistakes, but isn't it gratifying to be able to share that? And I just want to revisit one point. I'm talking about how do you get more opportunities to talk with people and grow in your disposable income. Look, I'm not embarrassed to say I love making money. I love being generous. I like nice things, but that's not what it's all about. And if you have that taken care of and you're doing well, you can have more impact. So it's not just for selfish things like I want a fancy watch. No, I want to have more impact. And that's something that if you're listening and saying, "Oh, I just want to be a good person and I don't care about," having the money enables you to have more impact, to be able to really be at cause in the matter of making change. So back over to you, Joe. I just am so enjoying this conversation.
I mean, Andrew, I love the fact that you spoke about money and how you enjoy making money, because man, let me tell you, I've been broke on my ass and I've had a boatload of money, and I'll take having a boatload of money than not having money. But one thing that's important is to realize that money's like, people think like, because there's these limited beliefs on money, right? Like money's the root of all evil, money doesn't grow on trees, and people start building this this toxic energy and relationship with money. And man, it doesn't have to be like that, right? Because money doesn't create evilness unless you allow it to do that for you, right? And you start getting greedy with the money. But if you utilizing money as a tool to help you catapult into your purpose and create impact with it, man, you're gonna just continue to attract more money into your life,
Yes.
because you're going out there and you're doing the right thing with that money, and you're not doing something that creates that toxic energy.
And that's what I see you doing, Joe. That's how I see you. You're living this life of possibilities for anyone who's observing what you've done. You're living a life of purpose where you're looking to bring good back after what you've been through. And I just want to applaud you for that, because it's sadly not that common. Some people fall and they stay down, or they use that as an excuse just to, do the bare minimum and be safe. And this brings us back to being comfortable with being uncomfortable,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely, absolutely. And thank you for the kind words. And I want to say that I applaud you for what you're doing out there. And because it's easy for someone to say, you know what, I got a fucking multi-million-dollar business. I don't need to go out there and do anything else. I don't need to go out there and inspire people. I'm inspired with my own life. I'm inspired with, the money I'm making. I'm inspired with, the way I inspire my family. I don't have to go out there and go onto a larger scale and get uncomfortable out here and do something that I've never done. But you went against all that and said, you know what? No, there's more inside of me. I was built for something bigger than this, and I'm going to go out there and find what that is. And I'm sure, I know, speaking from experience on my end, this purpose thing, this shit is messy. It's a messy playpen, and I got to constantly mold things together to make it work. And you know what? It's an ongoing process. It's not something that just, oh, you know what? I transformed my life. I'm done now. I'm fully transformed. I could sit back and relax. No, fuck that. This transformation is an ongoing process
Yes.
that goes on every single day, and you continue to grow through it. So, Andrea, I'm curious, when you made the transition and you said, you know what, I'm gonna do something that's bigger than me. I'm gonna go out there and you know continue doing what I'm doing in the legal world, but I'm gonna also go out there and transition into something else. Or when you were going through being in a male dominated industry, what were some of the limited beliefs that you had to crack through in order to uncover the new belief system you live by now?
I'll tell you, and thank you for that. It is definitely a truth that humans, myself included, sometimes think we've arrived at a place by accident and we don't give ourselves the credit that we deserve. Like when I stepped into this first, male only firm, and I thought, do I really belong here? I had the book of business, but then I started making excuses for, well, this deal I got lucky on, and that one. Like I started having this imposter syndrome, which is really a limiting belief, I think, in a lot of people who don't want to or don't want to give themselves the credit that they deserve for having succeeded. Like, how did I possibly get, what did I even deserve it? But getting past that and owning it is really, I think it's just part of the deep practice of life, of gratitude, and of seeing that if you're out there, and this comes so much from a big heart perspective, but also from a growth perspective. If you know that the more you put out there, the more that you take action that makes sense, and the more you're aware of what those actions are that are going to bring you back results, you start realizing that you can be in absolute control, or certainly more control than you ever realized. And that limiting belief of not thinking you're in control, of waking up scared and thinking, oh God, how am I going to get all of this done? And there's no game plan, there's no rule book, there's no how to. There is a how to. And once I think we all start realizing that, those limiting beliefs get sort of extinguished. And I have to say, like anything else, like meditation, like working out, like being in a really good relationship with anyone, with your significant other, with your kids, with your parents, you got to take a little effort. I don't want to say you have to work at it, because that makes it sound like it's not enjoyable, but you have to put in some loving effort. And that's what makes all the difference. It's, again, always seems to go back to, yeah, it might seem like a pain in the neck a little bit. It might seem like outside your comfort zone. It might seem like I'm fine where I am. Let me just play another game on my phone, or scroll or something, or watch something else on Netflix. Or I'm going to actually kind of push myself a little bit and deepen that relationship, have that conversation, take that kickboxing class. Kickboxing is way fun. I mean, I did it for a few years and I'm just getting back to it, and it's awesome. And so is ballroom dancing. If you have somebody who you're really into, it seems a little hokey at first, but it's sexy and it's fun. And if you're a woman, you like have to let the guy lead, which is really was interesting for me, because I'm not exactly someone who likes to be, led in life. But those are examples of things where you're kind of pushing yourself through something, and it's worth it. It's 100% worth it.
Yeah, man, I would have paid anything to be a fly on the wall in that moment when you're going through that first ballroom dance. A woman who was in a male dominated industry had to lead her own way, had to, pave her own way through. And then all of a sudden you got to take that where you're getting leaded through the process. It must have been interesting to watch you first start adapting to that.
It's so funny that you say that, because my husband was like, this ain't gonna work. He didn't think I was ever going to be able to snap out of it, but then I did, and it was fun. It really was. And I think it's like anything else that you just let go and try to learn something, and again, back at you, it's like always learning. I think that's another reason why we're always learn. So why? So we can ultimately give, so we can
Yeah.
ultimately teach what we've learned and give back. And that's kind of when I think about what's my vision, my mission, my purpose. I used to always say, well, I want to be like this shining light of this example of possibilities for my kids. And I have 5 grandkids, by the way.
At
And they're
25?
I started really young. What can I say? But yeah, the oldest is 7 and he's missing like 4 teeth. He looks like a second grader. He's adorable, Cooper.
Very
And then there's a set of twins in there, and I have 5. They're adorable. But I
nice.
want to show them that anything is possible. They need to see that, hey, Gigi's doing some pretty cool stuff. But more than that, I want to have a legacy, leave a legacy. I want to make a difference in the world. And that can be from a variety of places. But what I see predominantly is if I can, and you and I have this in common, if I can help leaders rise in their mastery and maybe find other leaders through my connection to merge ecosystems so that their activities, their 1+1 could be like a billion, a trillion points of impact. That's what I want to do.
Love it. Love it. Creating the impact and wanting to be of service is something that I see in every entrepreneur that is succeeding at a high level, is that we all want to be of service and give back the gift that we've been given, and just create that impact and realize that our story doesn't belong to us anyway, right? It belongs to the people out there that we could create impact.
So well said.
Thank you. So I'm curious because I believe that when we break through a belief system and build a new belief system, that there's some core values that are uncovered. And those core values are the values that we lean into when times get challenging and life throws the curveballs that life's always going to throw and knocks us below the belt and knocks us to our knees. So, what are some of the core values that you uncovered through your journey that you lean into now and live by?
Number 1 is gratitude. And just saying the word almost makes me tear up because whenever I'm feeling, and again, this is my demon, in the morning, first thing in the morning, I have this overwhelmed cortisol feel. Like, how am I going to do? What have I done? I jumped off a cliff. I'm getting on the floor and doing those push-ups or getting my shoe. Like I literally, I don't even put my shoes on. I'm barefoot. I get the dogs. I run around the house. That's how you get rid of the cortisol rush when, I get it in the morning. But the other thing is, I'm so grateful. I have an 89-year-old mother who just walked the Great Wall of China with my sister and brother-in-law a couple of weeks ago. We're celebrating her 90th on New Year's Eve. And how cool is that? I used to tell a story. I closed a deal once from the top of the Great Wall. It was a very bad reception, but I got a deal, all I's dotted and T's crossed. And from that very same spot, I have a picture of my mother. I have such incredible daughters. I have a really super cool, wonderful, supportive, he gets me husband. And my kids and my grandkids, I can't be more, but the people I work with, I work with these huge-hearted, growth-centered people that are just looking to do good in the world and find the path to that greatness, find the path to have impact. And if you surround yourself, I've heard this said many times by a lot of brilliant minds, that, you become like the 5 to 10 people that you spend most of your time with. And I go out of my way, and it's all natural these days, to spend time with people who I'm excited to talk with. What can we co-create together? What can we do? At what project can we work on? And that to me is it's such an important way that we can. But so the core value of gratitude is all related to what I'm thankful for. And when the cortisol hits and I put endorphins in my body and that gets me out of my head and into, whew, I got this. Then I go through my little, and sometimes I keep a journal. I need to be more disciplined about that, but gratitude is number 1.
Yeah.
Because if we all realize how much even when you're at rock bottom, you could still think of things to be grateful for. Think about, there are people who can't see, or that are paralyzed or don't have a body at all. Here we have this God-given, apparatus. We could do anything.
Yeah.
And we've got to be grateful. We've got to be grateful. Other than that, they're pretty much, you've got to be not only true to yourself, but have integrity with your word.
Yes.
And that's like a really important, just something that's really important to me. And we're all human. We all want to do our best in well, not we all do. I do. I want to do my best, and I hope that others share that value. But
Right.
sometimes, as you would say, we fuck up. We're
Yeah.
human. But if
Yeah.
that happens, pick up the phone, apologize, make it right. But have integrity with your word. That doesn't mean you're always going to be impeccable and that you're not going to make a mistake, but do the right thing and be humble. Humility is another important value. It's like many of us have a lot of accomplishments. You can't rest on your laurels. Always be trying to do better and achieve what you can to make an impact in the world. But stay humble. Stay humble and know that you're no better. I'm no better than anybody else because I'm not. Everyone deserves love and respect and not necessarily trust right away. That has to be earned. Sometimes a little too trusting too fast. I've learned that lesson the hard way. But I'm not better than anyone else. So
Yeah. No, man.
that's all I got on that subject.
No, that I love that. Humility is so important, and it's so important to understand that. Listen, we're all humans, and we're all equal. You don't know what somebody else is going through in their life. Treat the guy at the restaurant that's washing dishes the same way you treat a CEO. you
100%.
know and also, I mean, man, gratitude is so important. It's so vital for your success, I mean, gratitude shifts perspectives, it shifts energy, and just understanding the things to appreciate in life, right? Appreciate the fact that, not just the fact that you have your toes, your feet, that you're able to see, that you're able to smell, that you're able to appreciate the fact that you're fucking alive, that you woke up this morning on the right side on the right side, and that you're able to live because there's somebody that yesterday they're not able to say that today. So just appreciate the small things in life is what I'm hearing Andrea say here and share. And I think it's important for the audience to pick up on that, man, really be grateful for the things that you do have in your life and don't complain about the things that you don't. It's so important. Uh,
Thanks
so
for
Andrea,
hearing me, man. Appreciate that.
thank you for saying it. People have to recognize how important, vital gratitude. Gratitude is the attitude way of life.
Yes.
Gratitude, lifestyle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Style.
Yeah.
Um,
And
so
also, if you're grateful and, like love is a verb. To love, it requires putting something into it. You can't just say, oh, yeah, I love you. I care about you. You got to actually do something. It's a verb, it's an action verb. And all of the things that we've been talking about, I think, are reminding me, and I'm so happy to share, that we really have the power to affect change and to make a difference. And it's really a matter of doing the things. You're grateful for someone, you love someone, tell them, or put the time in, make that appointment. When you time block for your day and you're deciding what are the important meetings and when I have holes in my schedule, what should I be filling it with? Also be filling it with other things that are important to you, like an organization that you really want to give back to, or a cousin who you love so much, who is sick and you want to spend time with. Don't put that off. Put that in your time block for it. It's amazing how if you time block with more intention, you feel empowered because you can be doing these things that are important and put your personal stuff in there. It's not just the grind, it's your life. And then you feel good about it. Like, ooh, I got a pedicure today. I mean, come on. We all-
That's good. That's good. And self care is important too. Go get that pedicure. Go get that manicure. Go get that massage.
yeah,
I love it.
exactly.
Andrea, I'd love for you to share with the audience what you have going on now
Okay.
and where they could find you.
So the Heart of Influence, and I will send you a link where someone could schedule a quick call with me to see if they'd like to come on a show, if they qualify. I'm really looking for business leaders, lawyers, financial service providers, investors of any kind, RIAs, investment bankers, wealth advisors, accountants. We call that the triangle of trust: the financial, the legal, the accounting, because they tend to refer business really to every, they're good referrers of companies. I love business leaders, any industry, like someone who's a leader, heads of associations, podcasters. When I put a show together, I'm curating 6 people that hopefully don't know each other. Maybe 2 will know each other because it's a small world. But I'd like to share a link. So if someone thinks they'd like to come on, this show has had 1,900, almost 1,900 episodes, if I didn't mention that already, close to 9,000 guests. And the reason I think the show has become so wildly popular is Sean Callaghan and Bella Verita, the co-hosts, just do such a stellar job in, making people feel seen, heard, understood. What they have to say really matters. But the sort of recipe for the show is fun. So people get to know each other at speed and hopefully want to follow up. We Right after the show, we give everyone contact information, and you've spent an hour where you've meaningfully connected with people. Like, we're meaningfully connecting here. You just asked great questions, and I feel like I know you so much better, and I'm grateful to you for that. And that's not always the case in every conversation. I like conversations to go this way, but often, not people don't have your level of mastery or care or open heartedness. We are that way on the show, and people do connect afterwards and make things happen, and that's extremely gratifying. So yeah, I'll give you that information. The Callaghan Law website. I'll give you things that maybe you could attach to this if anyone wants to reach me. I'm happy to provide my email address. It's Andrea, Andrea dot Cataneo, Cataneo, at unblindedmastery.com. That's one long email address. One long word, no.com. And email me, and let's potentially make a plan.
Love it. Love it. Love it. And yeah, make sure y'all check out Andrea and check out the show, man. It's incredible. Y'all will love it. All that information is going to be in the show notes for everybody.
Oh, good. And one other thing, if anyone wants to see a prior show, go to YouTube and just type in Heart of Influence, and you'll see there's a bunch of episodes there, but don't watch too many. You want the magic to unfold for yourself, because the show follows a certain cadence, but they are there. They're there if anyone wants to take a look.
Awesome. So, Andrea, a couple of questions that I ask
Okay.
my guests. The first is, what does the word purpose mean to you?
Well, it means everything. If you don't have a purpose, you don't know what direction to take. And I think those of us who don't have that why, that ingrained in why, it's very difficult to do things. So purpose means to me, common theme here, giving back, sharing wisdom, sharing shortcuts in life, sharing recipes, and being an amazing example of possibilities to my kids, my grandkids, and to people that I engage with.
Sharing is caring, man. Sharing is caring.
Yes.
Love that. Love that. And when you hear the word reforge, what comes to mind?
I love that word. What it makes me think of is, molten metal that's melted and has had issues, and it doesn't know where it wants to go. And reforge makes me think of steel and strength and getting things back together in a way that is stronger than it ever was. And almost like it was a positive that things got a little disrupted, because now on the other side of that disruption, there's this beautiful strength.
Yeah. Come on, girl. Keep on. Keep on. So, Andrea, there's somebody out there right now who's maybe watching the show or has a friend that they know of that's looking to reforge their life, whether it's in their business, their finances, their relationships, their health, whatever domain of life it is. And they don't have the tools, they don't have the whereabouts, the know-hows. What's one small piece of advice you could give them to help them reforge their life?
Don't be afraid to disrupt.
That's really good. I don't even think anybody's used that so far on the show. That's a good one because that's powerful. And there's a lot of people out there who do struggle with that, where they're like, I don't want to disrupt. I don't want to go outside of the thinking box. And man, to disrupt.
Or I just want people to like me. And I suffer from that. I still suffer from that a lot. But
Right. That's
you
good.
can't just stop there. Sometimes disruption is necessary for growth. In fact, it almost always is.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Man, I'm glad you said that one. That's a good one. And then what's one thing other than ballroom dancing that you enjoy doing for fun that the audience doesn't know about you?
Ooh, this is good. There are a few. Let's see. I love miraculously fixing a botched recipe. I am the one in the family that if someone screwed something up that they're cooking, I can fix it no matter what because I'm a taster. And I have an herb garden. And because I've been so busy over the years, most people don't know that I have a passion for just making things delicious.
Ah, okay. All right. That's good to know. And you got some Italian in you, so
You
I'm
bet
sure
I do.
recipes over there, girl.
I exchanged recipes with Bobby Flay once, who I represented a few years ago. Yeah.
Look at that. That's awesome. Oh, man. Andrea, listen, thank you so much for coming through. I knew that you were going to bring the knowledge, the joy, the energy, the charisma, and you brought all that and more. And I really, really am grateful to be able to share this platform with you and this time that we were able to share today. I really appreciate you.
I can't thank you enough, Joe. This has been so much fun, and I really enjoyed getting to know you better. You are an incredible human, and thank you. Thank you for what you do and for what you're doing with this platform. It is really golden.
All right, awesome. You want her to say that again because it came in chopped up?
Oh, I said I'm grateful for the platform and for what you're doing, because this is truly golden. This is not something that everyone is doing. Grateful to you for this opportunity. I really did enjoy it, and hoping to do more with you. I think this could be the beginning of something, who knows?
I agree. Something impactful, something magical, something awesome and joyful. And I'm looking forward to it as well. So thank you again for coming through, and for everybody watching, listening. Thank y'all for checking it out. And please don't forget, I'm going to ask the same favor that I continue to ask for every week. LFSS, like, follow, subscribe, and most important, share the episode, because there's somebody out there that's not listening to the episode, not watching it, and they don't have the tools, the whereabouts, the know-hows of how to reforge their life, whether it's their business, their finances, their health, their relationships, whatever domain. It can help save their life in some way, shape, or form. So don't forget to share. And stay productive, stay purposeful, and stay blessed, y'all. Andrea, that was awesome.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, I'm going to tell her now. Thank you for coming through. I really look forward.
You've been listening to Reforge Your Life with your host, Joe Rivera. Make sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. To learn more about Joe Rivera and how he can help you or your organization reforge your life and regain your place at the top, head on over to withjoerivera.com and follow Joe on all social platforms. The Reforge Your Life podcast was produced by Thrive Loud Productions. Thanks for listening.